Welcome to another episode of the Yo What's Up podcast with my boy High Yellow. We got a big agenda today. We're talking about the campaign from Kamala Harris, Donald Trump. We're going to go into on our sports segment. We're going to talk about Catlin Clark and how the WNBA is a big failure. We're also going to talk about the NFL and Tua and his multiple concussions. Should he retire? And is it our right to tell him to retire? Then we're going to talk about in our pop culture segment, Darth Vader has passed away. And where were you when you first watched Star Wars? And then the shopping dilemma. We're going to talk about the shopping dilemma in San Francisco. If you go to San Francisco, if you visited San Francisco, how the dearth of shops are available for you to buy what you need on a trip or as a shopping destination in the world economy. Stay tuned with my boy High Yellow, and I'm Straight Black, and you're here with the Yo What's Up podcast.
What's up? What's up?
What's up, baby? How you doing out there?
We got the new studio, I guess, live here from Southern California. And I tell you, it's always sunny in Southern California.
Is it always sunny in Southern California?
Always in Southern California.
Man, it looked beautiful out there. Right out here, it's kind of rainy, overcast.
Fog.
Man, let's get right into it, brother. Kamala. What's going on with her campaign, man? What's up out there? What you hearing?
She's pulling away. If you pick up, a lot of endorsements that usually don't support you, and then at the same time, she's really sharing her background as a cop, basically. She's really pushing that prosecutor. She's part of the blue law and order. She's really resonating with that more, and she's keeping her headlines just simple. She doesn't get into the policy stuff too much, which she's gonna have to get tested. But it's 4 different headlines. 25,000 for your home, 50 for the small business, and then she has the other issues in regards to everyone getting along. So it's a simple message, but it's resonating.
Should it be resonating though? Is that a message that, maybe that's a message for city council, but for president of the United States, we have 2 wars. We have an economy that's pretty much in shambles. Everything is high at the grocery store. Your gas is higher, your electric bill is higher, the water bill's higher. I mean, why isn't she talking about some of those things? The things that matter to you and me and the rest of America. I don't care about her stump speech. Oh, I know she was a prosecutor. I know she came from a middle-class family. I know that she was raised by a single mother. What does that got to do with being president of the United States, man? Nothing.
It's nothing
at all.
But she looks at her, her competition, and he's talking about who knows what's in it. He's not really talking about the economy. He's not talking about the defense. His message is the same too. So, we got the worst of both worlds, running for the highest seat in the land. And so, once again, it shows that America has itself have some serious issues as a country.
Yeah, and the sad thing is when you hear about like Tulsi Gabbard and you hear her speak, you're like, why? I know why they don't want her, because she's actually smart. She actually has substance, so they can't control her. So I know why they don't want her, because she has a brain of her own. She can't be easily controlled. So I get that. And that Vivek guy for the Republican side, he seems very smart and bright and a master debater, going back and forth with issues, and he pulls off issues off the top of his head, and he has good policies. So I see why they don't want him also. But when you have a world in turmoil where they're blowing up people's pagers and killing them, and blowing up their phones and killing them, and people are dying, like massive people are dying, what has the Biden administration, which Kamala is the vice president, what have they done to stop this war? What have they said? What have they done? People are dying. Where's the envoy over to Israel trying to negotiate a peace? Where's the envoy over in Russia and the Ukraine trying to negotiate peace? This was the thing that Jimmy Carter and all, the steadfast Democrats would do. They're totally anti-war. But now, for whatever reason, my mic got unplugged for a second.
You was talking to
I was gone too, huh?
they,
I was on a roll, man.
they were trying to cut you off. They don't
trying
want
to cut me off. They don't want that information to get out. So what I was saying is that Kamala's campaign just got endorsed by Dick Cheney. Now, Dick Cheney, as we all know, used to be head of Halliburton, was vice president under Bush number 2. And some would say was the actual person running the White House. He had a very strong personality, but he is a huge warmonger. Huge. He's into war. And so when you see him endorse Kamala, that tells me that the wars will continue under her administration. And that bothers me as a person of peace who doesn't want us blowing up anybody. Just leave people alone, let them live. They have children, they have lives. The population don't want any war. It's always the leadership. It's always the people in power that the people put in power. But they forget that. And then they go to war and kill people over stuff that, man, me and you could care less about. And I'm sure the people that are living there are like, man, I just want to live my life and raise my children and have a good life.
Well, straight black, it's like straight white. It's black and white, right? Because the United States of America was built on the military industrial complex. If you look at the allotment of capital, of the expenditures in the budget, we as a country spend the most on defense. And there's no doubt that Dick Cheney and the Cheney family, you have to understand that they're going to continue to feed that industrial complex because it's made a lot of their families very wealthy. If it's not oil, it's that, And if you kind of look at all the different CIA operations and everything else in regards to supplying arms and things like that for control, that's not going to go anywhere. So in reality, America will continue to be the police of the world. They will continue to make sure that the power is built by, fearing us and by enforcing their strength. And definitely they don't trust Trump, because who would ever think the Dick Cheney family will ever support a Democrat,
It's crazy.
Okay.
It blows my mind, to be honest, that Dick Cheney would come out and support a Democrat. It just, it's something I would never imagine.
No, I mean, verbally on record in the video. So, as I point out to a lot of people, there's always a class system, and I tell people, the Bohemian clubs and all the high blue blood royal family, they've always seen everyone else as white trash, trailer trash. They don't have no. They only use them. They use those people. They use them for what they want, and that's it. And the bottom line, they couldn't control Trump, so that's why.
The bottom line.
They
can't control him. That's why they're scared of him. That's why the whole media and everybody and their mom are against him, because they can't control him, because he's not a man of their system.
No, he's not. And then so at the same time, once Dick Cheney said that, guess what happened?
What happened?
The next day, another missed situation. You see what I'm saying on Trump's life. So
how does that keep happening? I mean, now, okay, once is too much, but twice, bro, twice.
This is bigger than both of us, than anybody can ever imagine. But it just shows you clearly who's in charge, and if you're in their way, they'll take you out. And
That's what,
that's
and it's
the bottom.
right there for everybody to see in the world.
Yeah,
If you buck the system too much, they will come after you. But what's even worse, that they killed those two people, whistleblowers who were from Boeing, who tried to whistleblow on the things that were happening in Boeing, and they offed them. They off Jeffrey
off,
Epstein. They
often.
off. They're trying to off Trump. Who knows what's going to happen to Diddy? They probably try to off him too. But it's crazy that we live in America in 2024 and they're assassinating people right in front of your face. News don't report it. News don't say anything because they're all in on it. And if you didn't know that it's one big game and they're all in on it and we're not invited, they're showing it to you right in front of your face. And you just keep your head down and you walk down the street and you go to work and you think everything is okay, but it's not.
And as you know, and the point is, they will remind people, don't test us. Don't test us. And so,
Yeah.
if you want to, you better be afraid of America's, society of wealth and money. The Panama reports, where all those reporters had the investigation about the very wealthy and the money. All those reporters got killed. Okay, you
All
didn't
of
hear
them.
anything, in regards to the media talking about it anymore. You know what I mean?
Hey, and
And then,
that's why the media probably there's no Walter Cronkite running around in America right now. There's no Harry Reasoner. There's none of these big, people who are willing to break stories and have the backing from their media conglomerate to do so. Now everybody just keeps their head down. I mean, listen to the softball questions they're asking Kamala. I mean, like, your hair color and how to make greens in a bathtub. I mean, who cares? What does that got to do with being president of the United States? I could care less how you make your damn greens. You a vice president. You probably haven't made greens in I don't know how long. You probably have somebody else. You have a cook and a chef. I've been to the White House. They got a chef, fabulous chef actually. They're making all the food. You ain't
yeah,
cooking. Who you kidding?
I'll give you an example. I'm watching Bloomberg. They had the Bloomberg chief reporter in San Francisco, and Bloomberg is about business.
Yeah, 100%.
The host asked a silly question about her dating Willie Brown.
Okay.
Even Bloomberg chief in San Francisco had to ask the host of the radio station, like, dude, you, this is a business channel. Ask me a question about economics, about
About
what you
economics.
do. So, you know, once again, you know, unfortunately, we got a media that's just so stuck on ratings. They're not really giving us substance. They're not giving
None.
anything that can inform us. They're just giving us what we want to hear and inciting us. And then, like Rupert Murdoch said, look, I'll share lies with you if you're gonna watch Fox.
Whoa. Hey.
It's all about the money, baby.
You know what's funny
Clearly,
is
it's about the money.
these people in charge of whatever, they always tell you what they're doing and they tell you right to your face. And I was always taught when a person shows you who they are, believe them. Right now, they're not giving us any substance about Kamala. And that's their game plan. Stay on the fence. Don't give any uh really substantive uh choices or political outliers on what you're going to do for policies, because if you do that, then they can come after you because of those policies. But that's what running a country is all about. How are you going to bring down the cost of gasoline? How are you going to make it cheaper for me to go buy a loaf of bread and milk at the store? And she's talking about price controls. No, well, price controls don't work because that's what they do in communist countries. And then that's how you get bread lines and food lines and all that stuff. That stuff don't work in a supposed, democratic republic where we are invested in capital and capitalism. That doesn't work. Price controls don't work. You can't do that.
and straight black, let's face it, man. The bottom line, they don't want her to get into policy because look at the state of okay, and look at the city of San Francisco. It's run by a bunch of perverts, silly administration, silly laws, and also they just free for alls. And you look at all these companies leaving. We got burnouts and blackouts. We got just a state that is in shambles, and we're supposed to be one of the best economies, and
in the
that's
world.
leadership. And the leadership has got out negotiated, outplayed, all those tax credits and all the other things they've been giving out. And then at the same time, they've been telling people who are mentally ill they don't have to see the doctor. That's a law. That was a law in San Francisco, which was ridiculous.
Mm.
Legislators. So, if they really got into Kamala's background and the type of things she supported and the people she supported, uh, it's game over. It's game over. So of course they're not going to bring.
The main thing to me as a black man is when she was the DA, she went after all the brothers for like weed offenses and put them in jail. Like now weed's legal. I don't really hear about them releasing all those brothers that they put in jail
Well,
for weed. Weed's legal in California. So everybody who has a weed charge in jail right now should be released. Period. End of story. Because it grows out of the ground. Who cares? What I hate and what the Democrats used to say is stay out of our homes and stay out of our bedrooms, because when they were pushing the gay agenda they wanted you to stay out of their bedrooms because they were doing things that straight people weren't doing, so they didn't want you in there, so they said stay out. Okay, great, I want you to stay out. Don't tell me what to do, don't tell me what to watch, don't tell me what to read, don't tell me what to say. It's called the Constitution of the United States. And then just the other day, Gavin Newsom has said you can't, he doesn't want you doing memes. He wrote a law which is against the Constitution. And all these people were sending him all these memes because people were talking bad about him and he didn't like it. I mean, that's narcissism. You're the
well,
governor, man. You're supposed to be bigger than that.
well, he also went against the hemp. He's trying to get rid of hemp with a little bit of THC in it. Hemp don't even hold a lot of THC, and he's trying to get rid of the hemp industry in California, which is silly and crazy. But at the same time, getting back to Kamala, I don't mind her enforcing the law. If the law's on the books, that's the problem we have with a lot of situations. We're not enforcing the law. I think
Mhm.
what happened, we had a very egregious sentencing, you know, whereas a white collar criminal can steal someone's retirement and whole plan and do maybe 24 months. But if
Mhm.
you smoke a little bit of weed, you're doing three years,
That's
So
crazy.
it was, what was the sentencing was a big major problem for our community in regards to the crimes, and getting sentenced, at these really egregious terms was not fair. And so, but I have nothing against any enforcement of the laws that are on the books. And that's the problem that we have nowadays. We have a lot of laws. We don't need all this new laws and there's a lot of laws right now that just need to
Mhm.
be enforced. And the point is, we always making excuses on why not to enforce them, or we need another law, we need to write up another legislation, and we need to tax the taxpayers again for this legislation. For example, in the civil unions, we spend billions of dollars on that to come to the marriage, and then what happened to all that legislation, all that money they spent? Waste,
You tell me where to go.
waste,
Where is it?
gone.
You know, you brought up a good point. When they talk about uh, reform as far as criminal reform, right? Judicial reform. They didn't really reform anything. All they did is just not enforce laws.
Exactly.
To me, when you talk about criminal justice reform, it means that me as a black man, you as a Hispanic man, you as an Asian woman, you as a person who's not Caucasian, do a crime or do something, and you get the same sentence that the white lady or the white man gets. That's criminal justice reform. Like, I don't think it's fair that you well, and this is I'm gonna get a little deep, maybe a little graphic. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. I don't think it's fair that some white guy rapes a woman and gets time off, and some black guy steals $10, like, going through like the tunnel, like through an overpass or a bridge toll, and they gave him like 3-4 years. But then this other guy raped somebody and he gets off. That's what I'm talking about. What criminal justice reform should be. Everybody colorblind. The law should be colorblind. Here's the sentencing for X, and here's the sentencing for Y, and they're the same
Oh,
because the
well,
crime is the same. That's what it's about.
yeah. Like I said, if you look at a lot of the laws to going through right now on the books, the point is enforcement, and the point is to make sure we don't constantly get all this new legislation over and over and over on the same topic to change a few things. So it's a money grab. It's a total money grab by a lot of the power players who are moving the needle, printing more paper to put more paper in their pocket. That's it.
It should be a law that every law that comes on the books, you got to remove 3. Because there's so many laws. Everyone you come up with, like, this would kill Scott Wiener because he comes up, he's like the encyclopedia of rules, regulations. Like, every law you come up with, we got to remove 3 of the ones that you brought in.
Yeah. We need to repeal every law Scott Wiener or Weiner or whatever you want to call him that he put in there that has to do with children. He should have never touched any of that. And Gavin Newsom should have never approved any of that crap.
Yeah, all those should have been vetoed.
Yeah.
And for the people who are out there who are listening and who don't know, Scott Wiener is a state senator from California who seems to put out lots of legislation that has to do with children, puts out a lot of legislation that has to do with sexuality, and it's just nonsense that not needed. He's a gay man who doesn't have kids, and he seems to hate or dislike kids. It seems like definitely dislikes parents having kids and being in control of their own children. And for legislating things like if you're 24, you can go out with a 14-year-old, as long as you say you're gay.
They're trying to push it down to 12. They're trying to push it to 12. And that's the next year. And and getting back to enforcement, and I'm glad you brought Scott up. But I want to say something on enforcement and our economy. Example, hot dog stands and tacos stands flop up on the middle of the street.
Right.
Okay. They get to sell all sorts of things. They're not paying taxes. Okay. Got the small business down the block that can use that money, that hungry stomach, that opportunity. You got him taxed. You got him doing licensing, annual renewals, all this stuff. But yet you letting that illegal operation fry up some hot dogs, fry up tacos and all this shit, disregarding the hardworking small businessman who has a legitimate business right in the neighborhood. So that's what California is all messed up about. They just don't get it. How can I say it? They are constantly making excuses for a lot of the illegal actions that are right in front of our face. They need to enforce that. Period.
Well, you need to enforce the law. You can't pick and choose what laws you're going to enforce, and I hate when they do that. Like, loitering's illegal, like camping inside city limits is illegal. There's all kinds of things that are illegal that they have the tools. But one interesting thing before we move on, I went, we never really talked about Trump and these assassinations, and I really want to talk about that because I know it's bigger than one crazy guy taking a shot. It's like this last one. It was at his golf course, and the person who was shooting had never been to that golf course before. He's not from Florida, from what I understand. So how did he know where to go, where Trump was going to be at that time, unless he had information? And it doesn't take a rocket science to know that these two people that have tried to assassinate Trump have backing. They have information. They have more. There's more to it than just some crazy guy going out trying to kill somebody. There's way more to it. And the media, unfortunately, just go. Matter of fact, they don't even really seem to want to talk about it. They try to like pass. Some of them are just like, "Oh, it's too bad he missed," and all these. It's horrible. I can't believe ever since COVID-19, the things that people say, normal citizens say about other citizens, blow me away. I remember during COVID, they were saying, "I hope you die if you don't get the shot." I remember during COVID, all uninformed, just mindless madness. How could you hate another human being so much that you wish he would die? What did he actually do to you in a person? The man was president for 4 years. What did he do to you? He said a lot of mean things. He said a lot of tweets and all this stuff. But what did he do to you?
But there's a lot of people kill. I'm sorry.
Huh?
Black,
You're
yeah,
ill.
I like to
You're
kill.
mentally ill.
But
Yeah.
I use the word hate. But there's a lot of people I like to kill. Okay, because I think at the same time, they are a threat to society. They are a threat to democracy. They are a threat to the way we to move forward. Because I think as a country, I don't trust Iran. I don't trust. All these proxies out there. I don't trust our enemies, and we got more enemies than ever now. So, I think at the same time, um, we have to have a strength. We have to be strong, and we have to make sure that we have the right people controlling the button, and also sending anyone's child into war. You know, so that's my opinion. Unfortunately, we live in an imperfect country, imperfect world.
Really imperfect. And it's not
But
getting any better. You would think as time goes
I
on, it
try
would
to be
get better,
nice,
not
trying to
worse.
be nice, and try to be kind and all that. That's just thrown
Mhm.
out the back. Okay, they will take people take advantage of kindness. Okay,
Yeah, they
and
always do.
sometimes
Yeah.
I put the hammer down, and the one thing that I was impressed with was finally Israel did something more advanced in their tactics instead of just bombing, apartments and bombing people and bombing, just to get two people. They did something more advanced, and we're moving into drones. We're moving into robots. Being on Wall Street, I see a lot of information. I see a lot of new technology, and I think the human element of having humans fighting wars is going to be done in about 50 years. We're going to have more drones fighting wars, and more robots will be implemented coming in. And that human element will be needing more video game players and more
Yeah,
people
true.
who know how to control a drone and so forth. Ukraine is showing exactly the new warfare that is coming in play, and it will be in play in 50 years.
Well, what I hope in a perfect utopia that in 50 years we wouldn't be talking about war still, that people will be closer together because obviously the internet has brought people closer together in the communication, which they're trying to get rid of. If you look in Europe and if you look at some of the things that came out in New York City and you're looking at some of the things that Gavin Newsom is talking about, they're trying to make it so that these internet companies block and ban and put your tweet lower or put your Facebook post lower so you can't communicate and get real information out to the world.
Yeah.
And that's what they're trying to control because they know that if you can actually see what's going on in Columbus, Ohio, and you can go and see what's actually happening there, then you're informed. They don't want you to be informed. They want you to be stupid. They want you to just go along with what they tell you to do. And the crazy thing about it is they're just people like you and me. They think they're better than us, but they're just people.
Well, no,
They
we
just
have
they're just sick. They're sick. They have a sickness,
Trey Black
you know?
have influencers out there. Okay, we just had the FBI go after the Russia. Russia was selling all that really nasty, divisive propaganda. North Korea selling that propaganda. So, the internet has been used as a weapon too. See, that's what I'm saying. The warfare has changed now. Warfare, propaganda, and warfare has been around for a long time. Remember, back in the days, they'll drop pamphlets down.
Hmm.
Before but now they're using the internet now. And one thing that they've done very successfully, and I think it's China, Russia, and North Korea, is that they have worked really hard to try to divide the people in America towards each other, and bringing different type of stories, and bringing up some false stories,
Well,
and
I'm going to challenge you on that
it's
point.
worked.
I think if I'm Russia, North Korea, Iran, China, you don't have to do anything. Uh, these idiots in America are doing it themselves. And you said a term that I hate, a threat to democracy. This is a term that the Biden administration has used toward Trump. And before these last 4 or 5 years, we didn't hear this type of term. You shouldn't say another American's a threat to democracy unless he really is. And Trump was already president for 4 years. Was he a threat? Did the world end? Did the moon stop spinning? Did the sun come down and melt the earth? No, it didn't. So stop saying things like that. That's divisive. And more importantly, when they're bringing in all these immigrants, they're going to replace you and me as black people as voters, because they're going to have all these Hispanics as voters, right? So our vote, they could care less about us in years to come. And that's what they're doing. And they're doing it right in front of your face. And these black people out there, they're not thinking correctly. They don't see the big picture. They only see what's right in front of their face. They see the picture of a black woman and they think they should vote for her just on the basis of that. But they don't see what she's doing. I always don't care what people say. I watch what they do. That's more important than
Well,
actions.
democracy is not owned by the Democrats. It's been used by different parties when they fear that someone's going to take away their freedoms. The Libertarian Party's been using it. A lot of people feel that their freedoms are being taken away. So I would say, with confidence, that if anybody wants to be authoritarian and said he's going to rule with a heavy hand and as a king, then that's your democracy being taken away. And then if they put in the brown shirts and put in
Mm.
SS and put in
What
the
I'm talking about, and that's Nazi stuff. And what I'm talking about is if we take all the migrants and say in 5 years they all become voters, and now it's one party rule. What's the difference between one party rule? That's what we have here in California, which is not good. I don't believe in one party rule. What's the difference between one party rule and authoritarianism? There's
well,
nothing.
I think
There's
they
only one party you can vote for. There's only one party that people are voting for, and you can see what it looks like in San Francisco and LA and in California. This was a beautiful state. We used to have one time it'd be a governor that was Republican, one time it'd be a governor that was Democrat, back and forth, back. And sometimes we'd have a couple,
need more independence.
right?
Like, yeah,
We need to go independent. You're an
that
independent. I used to be an independent. I'm a Democrat now, but I think I need to go back to being
yeah,
independent.
go
I
back.
think all black people, matter of fact, not just black people, I think all Americans need to go independent. And then both parties would have to come to you to get your vote.
Exactly, and that'll take the purse away from a lot of people.
Yes.
But the one thing that's clear is that, remember, the immigrants. People think that they will vote Democrat. That's not true. Okay, once they find out, when they get here and they find out what these Democrats are doing to their children and what they're doing to human
Mm.
being, and what they do with a lot of the cultural, traditional Catholic ways, like a lot of these immigrants are from, it scares the shit out of them. And then, better off, a good message, like the old school Republican message was a good, solid message they want. So I wouldn't say that that you can count all the immigrants or majority of the immigrants to vote Democrat.
I would
Uh,
hope not, because a lot of them come from socialist countries and they know socialism is bad. And it seems like the Democrats, unfortunately, are leaning towards socialism, which they need to come back to the middle. And I'm not into socialism at all because I've been to socialist countries and I don't know what these people are thinking. They might need to they might need to travel a little bit. It ain't good. It's not
right,
good. You don't
right.
want to go.
this is
You
the
don't
best,
want that in your country.
and we need to fix this country. Matter of fact, in my opinion, if it was really my way, the best thing to do is put a wall up, in regards to no one can come in for a while until we clean up what's inside first. We
Oh,
all talking about everybody else's house and everybody else's how they look, and we always, or our house is dirty. Okay,
dirty,
it's filled,
filthy,
all sorts of crime and all sorts of
crime,
every
scandal,
that's not even have no,
immigration's horrible, high prices,
you know,
the
they're
PG&E
robbing
companies
people.
are
Yeah,
pa
yeah, yeah.
gas companies are gouging, they just
Now
do whatever they want. Property
we need
taxes are too high,
well,
yeah, everything.
we need.
Mhm.
It's time for us to clean our own
Clean this whole place up.
right now and stop letting all these people in and just say, you know what, we're going to clean up for a little bit and then boom. And then, secondly, I love the law that Bush put in. If you want to be American, look, you got to join the army or join, armed
The
service.
military. Mhm.
I like that,
I
and
like
then. And I like that for juveniles. We shouldn't have a juvenile court. If you get
no,
in, you should be going straight to ROTC
there you
or
go.
straight to some type of off camp. And guess what? Oh, you're gonna be under the government rule for a little while. We're gonna put you in shape, and then you're gonna be a part of this system instead of putting them back in the street to commit more crimes and commit more
That
situations.
that is a great idea,
You know,
Ayala. That is a great idea. If you have repeat offenders, obviously jail is only teaching them how to offend more, teaching them better schemes, teaching them better ways to do crime. Put these people in the military, make them get some discipline.
this
They probably never had a father figure. Get them some discipline, get them something to achieve and look up to, and maybe in 5 to 10 years they can come out and be a good citizen that contributes to
is
society.
a citizen
I love
and
it. I
contribute.
love it. I love it.
Divorce rates are high anyway. It helped the mama, and also, it's tough on the mom to work. And just imagine, you talk about immigrants. That's why we have more. You go down to the Tenderloin in San Francisco, none but immigrants selling dope. And I'm kind of sad about that because on one side, here's this lady that traveled 3,000 miles
Mm.
walking with her kids to get them a better life. And this little kid don't want to go to school. He want to go out there and sell dope and disregard all the hard work his mom, the sacrifice his mom took to get up here, you know.
Man,
But that
and this might seem, I don't know how to put it, where it would seem uh, digestible to uh, the normal ear out there, but it's kind of maddening to me. Remember when they had all the brothers out there selling drugs? All they could do is the war on drugs, and they're putting them all in jail. Now that they have these immigrants selling drugs, it's okay. Like hands off, like sell as much drugs as you want, kill as many people as you want. It's just strange to me, and it always comes back to as a as black is everything we do, we always have to pay the worst price for. But when other people do it, it's a pass.
they
And
hate it. That's the
they
bottom.
hate us. I don't know why.
The
What do we do to these people that they hate us so much?
Haitian is the example. Okay, Haitians, a dark color, black. Okay, they are all legal. Okay, legal.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
and they came up. Now people believe in dogs and cats. Now we all know what culture really is eating the dogs and cats. I ain't gonna say that on this podcast, but that was the biggest lie in the world, and they're trying to use that. And you see it now. No other immigrants are even trying to defend them either. You don't see anybody on
No,
any
yeah.
other
Better
immigrant
defend them.
trying to get it, and that's the problem with
One
black
thing
people.
I can't say about the Haitians,
Yeah,
brothers can't drive at all, man. There's some
okay.
horrible
We
drivers.
need driver.
I mean, horrible, man. They
Well,
running into all kinds of shit out
well,
there.
you see all these other cultures. They drive and there's no lines. They don't know. They need driver ed.
They
But
do.
the bottom line is that everybody hates black people. Okay, unfortunately, and
Yeah.
it's come to a point where we need to stop always trying to help everybody else and
Mhm. Talk
focus
about it.
our culture and getting our kids educated and getting them and instead of trying to be the next big time entertainer and
Mhm.
getting them to focus on STEM, focus on the next technology and the next, education. Because look at the Indians, they got all their kids, and guess what? They bring in billionaires,
Hey, they're
Chinese.
creating billionaires.
I mean, all the blueprint is there.
The
The
blueprint is there,
culture
brother.
needs to focus on the education. Okay, they need
Well,
to focus on that, and we need to focus on our people instead of constantly whining and crying for all these other immigrants, and then and then in the end for them to hate us after we got them free food, free education, welfare, child care.
before
Get,
we move on to the next subject,
they even
uh,
get this before black people. Okay,
the thing about us, and I didn't, this wasn't even on our agenda. We weren't even trying to talk about this, but it came up. So we can't get our house in order because we don't like working together. I'll tell you that right now. And I can speak from my own experience working with, the organizations I've worked with. And I tried to get all the black organizations just here in San Francisco to come together instead of being fractured and having all this, you get this piece of the pie. Let's come together where we can have 3 or 4 people from each organization. If we need to call to action, we can send out a text, and each organization will send 3 or 4 people to some community meeting at the board of supervisors so we could have numbers. And I brought this to the attention of my leadership, and a lot of platitudes, but no action. And I said, I'll get it done. I've talked to supervisors about this, nothing. We always want our little piece of the pie. We don't see the big picture. And it hurts me. And that's why in slavery they kept us, slavery's messed up the black man so much that we can't come together as a people and just all of us in one big conglomerate. The power we would have, because look at the entertainment, look at the NBA, look at the NFL. They should all come together as one and own a team. They should all come together and have a franchise. They should all come together and have their own radio and TV and all that. And Cosby tried to do that and they put him in jail. Oprah, she has the Oprah network, but people don't really trust Oprah after what happened in Maui. So we have to get together, and they won't let it because every time it happens, either that leader gets killed or they give them a bunch of money, like with the Black Lives Matter people. They get a bunch of money and they're gone. They take all the money. It just time and time again. So the game is rigged against us, and people aren't strong enough to stand on conviction. They get a couple dollars and they go.
there you go. You already answered the question. What's wrong with
There
us?
it is. Get a couple dollars and bye.
You know, we got a lot of big mouths,
Mhm.
and we scream enough, we'll get some money, but then they forget to distribute the money and be
Oh
sure
yeah.
of the money. They, all of a sudden they act like they never had no money. Well, a lot of them never had no money.
No,
They,
they
act-
never had no money.
they basically they wanted to be multi-billionaires and hang out with millionaires overnight.
Yeah.
Where they can just be helping and giving back. So we shoot ourselves in the foot a lot. Okay. And at the same time, we're constant, a lot of internal jealousy, a lot.
Before we move on, I'm going to end it with one thing, and this is my prediction. Say Kamala wins the White House.
But
The
you're gonna
play.
you're
Okay,
gonna
say she wins. I don't know. I can't predict the future.
hey, look,
Say she wins.
look, look,
Okay.
look,
Okay, wait. Let me finish. Say she wins.
there's no
The
okay,
plight for
that's
you
the part.
and
That's
me and
Republican.
every other
That's the
person of
pause.
color ain't gonna be any different. Because remember when Obama was there, we all had high hopes for him. He was there for 8 years, and we still talking the same shit.
Yeah.
We're still talking the same shit. It's gonna be the same thing until you wake up and smell the ground coffee back there. Just because a person looks like you, don't mean they're gonna be like you. And
Amen. Amen. You can end it like that. You drop
all
the
right, let's end that. Let's move on. Right?
all the way to Kentucky to get some of your fried chicken, and the colonel isn't even working today?
Nah, he ain't working. All right, sports. When you talk about the WNBA, and no one ever talked about the WNBA really till this Caitlin Clark lady came in. if there is a model for the Wharton Business School, the Harvard Business School, the Yale Business School, the Haas Business School to show students what not to do when you own a franchise or a business, the WNBA is it. And I'll tell you a whole bunch of reasons why. One, it's a predominantly black lesbian league, hard to market to middle America. Then you have a straight white woman who can ball, like I coach basketball, girl can ball, and there's haterade everywhere. You got to earn it, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's haterade everywhere. Where is the WNBA commissioner, the leadership in the WNBA, sitting all these coaches and GMs down and saying, stop. We don't want no more hate on this one woman. I don't want to hear a word. Rising tide rises all the boats because she has brought eyes to this sport that weren't there before. Do your thing and get some light on you too, and take that money and mention her name and be her friend and get in those pictures. And then now they start showing you in those clips and showing what you can do. When Magic and Bird came in, they saved the NBA. When Michael Jordan came, they were still there. But they turned over the torch to him because they see the big picture. They all got egos. Every sports person has an ego. But the object is to make the most money you can because you only have this window to play. So if you hating on the person that's bringing eyes to you, that's going to mean less money to you. So
Well, that's simple.
the business sense of the WNBA is just,
Black.
oh God. I just
I
can't.
mean, that's so easy. It's right in front of you, straight black. Okay, she got a contract that probably 5 players on one team. She making more than. Okay,
But she deserve it.
it's
You know
jealousy.
why?
It's
Because
jealousy.
people
It's
turning
all-
on the TV. It's jealousy. Yes. It's
It's
petty jealousy. Petty.
jealousy.
Petty.
It's come on, man. That's all.
But we shouldn't see the petty jealousy from a sports league because remember, sports leagues can be controlled because you have a commissioner who sets down the law and says, hey, on interviews, I don't want to hear this. If you do that, we're going to fine you. Hey, stop. Hey, referees, when they foul her, I want a technical foul. They'll stop fouling her. I mean, they do non-basketball plays to this gal all the time.
Yeah.
And they've never taken a stand. No one's ever come out, the head of refereeing or the commissioner hasn't come out and has said, enough. I would have done that a long time ago. If that girl got hurt, people stopped going. Ain't nobody gonna watch them.
Well,
Nobody was watching them before.
Let's face it. Okay, the bottom line is that anything that goes across the internet, they read, they get more people read about it. They're I think they're just saying we're getting more and more people, coming in about the.
Watch this. Did you know the WNBA is coming to the Warriors, right? Or the San Francisco next year? And I can guarantee you that
it's sold out. It's gonna be sold out.
When Catlin Clark comes, it's gonna be sold out. Before that, ain't nobody going. Nobody gonna be going to watch that. They're gonna go watch Catlin Clark. They probably go watch Aja Wilson because she is really good.
Yeah, we'll see the progressive audience if they will go.
Yeah, let's see if all these liberal progressives get out there and go and root for the WNBA. Right? All the ones that want like men to play women's sport. Let's see how that works out.
Yeah,
I want to see. I can't wait to see it.
But I think it's going to be a sellout because there's a lot of butchers in San Francisco, and there are a lot of people who support the San Francisco agenda. So that's for sure.
Oh man, you're killing me on that one.
Come on,
that one, man. You killing me on that, man. All right, let's move on to the NFL.
Yeah, they're proud who they are. There's not no racism there. A butch is a butch, and she and the bottom line is that they need to support the WNBA, and make it last in San Francisco. Matter of fact, I think I'm gonna get my ticket
Yeah.
No doubt. No
Tua in the NFL, he suffered another concussion, and it seems like and on a hit that it didn't even look like a vicious hit. It just looked like an ordinary, like the guy ran into this another player and he almost held him up and he was out. And it seems like the more concussions you have, the more susceptible you are to concussion. So if you have so many of them, you could actually, from what the doctors say, you could actually die, right? I don't want to see a guy die on the NFL field. Um, if he, I don't think he should be allowed to play. If he wants to play, that's one thing. But the NFL should take charge of this because they already have a bad record with these concussions as it goes. And his life is more important than a football game.
Life. Like, remember, what's his legacy is trust. Okay, so if he's has that money, he's got a big family, he's got a trust. He might want to play to the end. And at the same time, football has always been tons of football players with concussions. Before the whole concussion deal came, people were playing with leather helmets. So it's his call, and I think he should make that call. I don't think that the NFL should take him out unless obviously uh, there is a real factor that one more hit, he can die. So it's up to him. That's it. That's his call. He's a professional player. He signed a professional contract. He's not, a part of a collegiate operation or, a nonprofit. So that's on him.
All right, all right, all right, all right.
Can we get down to business?
Pop culture. Our man Darth Vader has passed away. James Earl Jones, the voice of Darth Vader, and an actor in many movies. I loved him in Conan. I remember him from Conan the Barbarian, and he had, he was in Coming to America and countless other movies. Strong brother, great voice. He passed away recently.
Jones, Earl Jones,
Hmm?
my cousin. He's a Jones. He's my
He's a
cousin.
Jones. When you saw Star Wars, where'd you see it at and what year? Did you see it in 77 when it came out, the Cornet? Where'd you see it?
At the Cornet Theater right on Arguello. Hey, that was, the ultimate date night. Okay.
Mm.
I think I
How many times did you see it when it came out? How many times did you stand in the damn line?
I think was the movie's only $1.50 or maybe
It was like $1.50, $2, something like that. Yeah.
I think I saw it like 10 times.
Man, it was a great movie, right? When it first came out, I stayed in that line, man, for like hours, like all the way around that block. I remember it. They don't have movies like that
Any
anymore.
girl that didn't want to date you, all you had to tell them is, look, I have tickets to Star Wars. You got a date.
James Earl Jones, man, we remember you, brother, and we miss you, and Godspeed. Much love. Now, recently I went shopping. I went downtown and I went to the mall. Remember the mall down there, the Westfield Mall? And you used to go to the Westfield Mall and it was packed. And I'm going to put the video up while we're talking right here so you can see it in the background. Packed. I went to the Westfield Mall yesterday, and on some floors, I was the only person there. Can you fathom being in a mall and being the only person on the floor? There was me, like a couple people in the store, like the people that work there, and most of the stores are closed, and just me. And I'm looking around, I'm videoing the whole thing, and there's not a soul. How can you be a world-class city, which San Francisco, I guess, is or used to be? I don't really know anymore. How can you be a world-class city without shopping? Because everywhere you go around the world, shopping is vibrant. Downtowns are vibrant because shopping is a social aspect. I mean, you go shopping, we hang out, we get what we got to get, go maybe get something to eat, hit a bar, take the women out to a movie or something. I mean, it's a social thing. It's a social construct.
Okay.
And you buy some things on Amazon, that'll come to your door. But at the end of the day, when you want to buy some shoes, when you want to buy something for your girl. When you want to do something, you go shopping, like you take the whole family and you go. You make a day of it. You can't do that anymore, because the sad thing is, when I went to this one store, and I'm not going to say the name because I don't want to get that person in trouble who worked there. If you go to Union Square, there's a police, they have the command vehicle there. They have all these police there. And I asked her, because the store went from being like a 6-story store, and they only have two floors now. All this other sections are closed. And I said, why did they do that? And she said, because of all the theft. And I said, but the police are right across the street. You know what she said? That's just window dressing. The police, they don't do anything. These people have been coming in here stealing for all the time, and they just walk out.
Yeah, none of them want to. None of them want to chase. It's a waste of resources. And the bottom line is very sad what's happened in the city, because you basically had a lot of filth on the city, people peeing and you come out shopping all happy and it stinks, it smells. You got your windows smashed in. You try to walk to the car, you got someone following you. It was just it was like living in the city was just disgusting. And who's going to spend money and hang out in an area that is filled with theft, and you see theft right in front of you? It stinks, everything's dirty, and at the same time you can get robbed on the way out. Okay, I mean,
so in Union Square,
40,
they have benches and all. Yeah,
come on, right there.
They have benches and everything where you can sit, and there's homeless people on almost all the benches. And then there are police right there. There's homeless people on all these benches. Now, this is supposed to be a place that's the center of downtown, that people come and they go through to go to other stores, or go, to get to left or right, to go to here to there. And there's homeless people everywhere. And then you go into some of these, like if you go into the parking garage, there was literally poop in the parking garage, because that obviously means people are going in there and they're sleeping in there. Now, they used to have parking attendants. They got rid of all the parking attendants so they could save money, but yet it costs more to park now than it did when they had parking attendants. And now the place is dirtier than it was before, because they have feces, and the elevator was just reeking of pee. Reeked of pee.
That's why insurance probably went up. Their insurance probably went up. And, it's the leadership is failed on all levels, man. On all levels.
And I can only think of all these people coming into the city for this dream force they're having here in San Francisco. And I can only think of these people who maybe they want to go out and shop, and they went downtown and they're like, I guess I can't shop because there's no place to go, because all the stores are closed. And then the stores that are open, when I got to get into their stores, homeless people, and there's poop and there's pee. It's not good, man. This is my city, and I love it.
I love my city. I'm going to continue to defend it. But, we turned it to a trash can. It looks like a trash can, smells like a trash can. And the policies are a trash can. The whole fucking system is a trash can. And for some reason, they're justifying it and making excuses for it. And they sound like terrible politicians that, in my opinion, if you want them to really lead the city again, it's a tough call, man. But we got to vote somewhere, with someone. But it's
next podcast, where I think we're going to have on. We're going to have a special guest on, either between you or me. We'll bring somebody on, and we'll just have, this podcast was a little deep. We had a lot of issues, and we try to get them all out, and we can't obviously get them all out in an hour, but we like you to like, subscribe, and listen, and tell your friends. Hit that bell notification so you can be notified when we have another episode of the Yo What's Up podcast. We are on Spotify and we are on YouTube. So we got High Yellow, we got myself, Straight Black, and we want you to say, "What's up?" Thanks for joining us on another show of the Yo What's Up podcast.
Thank you.
And on that note, check out What's Up.